Well, maybe they'll step back. My name is Eleanor Huffines. For those of you who don't know me, I am the Vice President of Programs and Grants for the Alaska Community Foundation here in Anchorage. And I just really play the role with Nina Kemple, our CEO, of trying to do our best to support Mariko and Carmen and the program managers and all of you in the affiliate program. And we're just so happy to be here. We all sort of fight over who gets on our leadership team, who gets to join these meetings, because whether you're new or you've been around for 15 years, you bring so much knowledge and experience in your local communities that we always welcome the opportunity just to have a chance to talk to people across the state. Today's session is really intended just to be an introductory, share information about ACF, and hopefully there is a PowerPoint, but hopefully there'll be opportunity for dialogue, and feel free to interrupt at any time and ask questions. We'd like it to be informal with some discussion. It's just trying to help set up people who are newer for success. And it's a lot to take in. So don't worry if you caught like one of the slides in the last 15, you have no idea what it is. And we're all here for you as a team to support you in your growth, and appreciate what you do and what your program managers do every day. And if you ever want to ask about the larger scholarship or larger grant program at ACF or anything, I'm always available for you as well. Carmen and Mariko have my contact information. But again, really just want to take the moment to say the executive leadership team and board at the ACF level really value this program and are so appreciative of all of your volunteer hours. We just don't take it for granted. And your communities don't take it for granted. And we want to recognize that and celebrate that as much as we can, and do what we can to make the process as enjoyable and easy. So that's all I was going to say. I'll just be here to listen and learn for the rest, and be here to support. And you can always reach out to me again later. And hopefully we'll see you at the end of the week at the convening.
Thanks, Eleanor. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, hi, everyone. I'm Mariko Serafin. I'm a senior program officer at Alaska Community Foundation. I co-manage the affiliate program with Carmen, and just wanted to do a brief introduction and say welcome to our training. Anne Marie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Anne Marie Moylan. I'm the new person at ACF, and I am involved in today's wonderful seminar as the technician of Zoom. So you can't see me, but I do community. Oh, you can't see my head? Oh, you can see me. I'm so sorry. Okay, now you can see me. And my apologies, I was standing up.
Good. Thank you.
And I'm the customer service manager here.
Thanks, Anne Marie. And we're really happy to have Anne Marie help us out today. So thank you so much for jumping in. It's been fun to have our team grow. So I'm Carmen Davis. As Marco said, we co-manage the affiliate program together. Today we'll start with a brief overview of the Alaska Community Foundation. And then Marco is going to take us a little bit deeper into the affiliate program. This is an introductory orientation, so we hope you will continue to reach out to us and explore other resources throughout your relationship with your affiliate and the Alaska Community Foundation. We'll pause for questions at the end of both segments, and we'll also provide some links to resources at the end of this presentation. Next slide, please. So the Alaska Community Foundation was formed in 1995 after a group of stakeholders, including Ed Rasmussen, determined that the people of Alaska would benefit from having our own community foundation. Since that time, ACF has been on a steady path of growth, part of which is the expansion of the affiliate program, all to inspire philanthropy statewide. Next slide, please. In 2006, ACF quickly realized the challenge of being truly a statewide community foundation. After a lot of research and discussion with Rasmussen and others, the decision was made to start an affiliate program in 2008. Mark Ho is going to share with you more about the affiliate model. What you see on this slide are what we called the three legs of the stool for community foundations. Virtually everything a community foundation does falls into one of these three categories. As a grant maker, ACF can adapt and respond to community needs, including urgent needs, such as during the pandemic when we were able to adapt and quickly grant funds into communities throughout Alaska. As a vehicle for philanthropy, ACF can accept complex gifts from donors such as stocks, retirement funds, and life insurance. In terms of community leadership, ACF serves as a neutral convener to address community needs, bringing together a broad range of stakeholders to address issues. Next slide, please. At ACF, we currently manage $209 million in assets. The assets fall into three categories. They're either non-endowed, endowed, or short-term project. Endowed funds are intended to support the organization's mission in perpetuity. So the investment horizon is long and there are limitations to an endowed fund's liquidity. Your affiliate's community grant-making fund is an endowed fund. Non-endowed funds do not have a set limit on the amount and timing of the distributions. Your affiliate's operating fund is a non-endowed fund. Not to be confused with your operating endowment. That one is for the long term. Short-term project funds are generally for projects or grants that have already been committed to, such as the Camp Initiative grant competition we had this past spring. ACF also manages more than 2,000 funds. There are several fund types, but for our purposes today, we'll discuss just three of them. Donor advised funds are where a donor sets up a fund with ACF and the donor makes recommendations about distribution of that fund. A field of interest fund supports grants to impact a specific area or geographic area of interest. The distribution of a field of interest fund is carried out by ACF or in some cases an affiliate. An agency fund is where an entity such as a library or a nonprofit organization establishes their own fund to benefit the agency and its purpose. There's also a scholarship fund. ACF manages 66 of those. In 2021, nearly $500,000 in scholarships were distributed to Alaskans. And in 2021, ACF distributed nearly $23 million in grants to every corner of our state. And that includes many recommended by you, our affiliates, for distribution into your communities. Next slide, please. This slide shows some key activities and highlights we established over the recent period. So last year and through Q2 this year. All 11, and this slide will be presented at the upcoming ACF full board meeting. But just to highlight a couple on there, all 11 affiliates met their match. Pick, Click, Give raised over $3 million for nonprofits last year. And the board, ACF board, the advisory board members, and all the staff were invited to participate in diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings led by the First Alaskans Institute and the Alaska Black Caucus. I'll pause for any general questions here before I pass the mic over to Mariko. Okay, Mariko. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say crickets, but then I think I heard somebody.
Michelle here. I was just wondering if these slides will be available.
Yes, we can send these slides to you after the show. So
Thank you.
thank you. Mhm.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. That's a really good note because I'm going to be covering quite a bit. So please don't feel like you have to feverishly write down your notes. You will have access to this PowerPoint and other reference materials after our presentation today. So, all right. Well, I'm Mariko. I'm going to share a bit about the affiliate program today with you and how each of our roles as volunteers and staff of ACF they are collaborative in nature, but they're different. First, ACF's flagship program, the affiliate program, it's really been core to our statewide initiative to grow long-term philanthropic resources for Alaska's communities. And as Carmen mentioned briefly at the top, though the program was launched in 2008, this concept of affiliates has been around for several decades within national community foundations. In our organization's history, though, at ACF, the affiliate program seeds began in 2006, really as a feasibility study at first with other Alaskan philanthropic leaders, funded by Rasmussen Foundation, of course. At the time, these executives were just trying to figure out how to grow philanthropic resources and think about strategies that would work well within Alaskan communities. And that's really difficult because, as we know, each community is uniquely its own with distinct opportunities and challenges. And because of these differences and the need for an adaptable framework, the affiliate model really rose to the top because of its flexibility and structure to meet those unique needs of each community, while also growing those long-term resources for the future of that community. So that's not to say that we can do everything under the sun or anything that we can possibly imagine as affiliates, but ACF can often figure out how to modify different approaches or processes because of the inherent nature of our community foundation model. Community foundations are really designed to be nimble, adaptable, and innovative to meet ever-changing needs right now and far into the future. So it's really built into our DNA. Next slide, please, Anne-Marie. All right, so the ACF affiliate program philosophy is really just built on the belief that people want to give back to the places that they love, especially in Alaska. Those that have lived here, have families here, or have prospered here, they want to give back in significant ways to the communities that they currently or have called home. We also believe that people living within a community are invested in that community's current and future well-being. Questions we ask ourselves like, do we have a thriving economy? Are people civically engaged? Do we have essential youth and arts programs to offer? These questions and many more like them are ones that people ask when those people are invested in the betterment of their hometowns. And they want to support these causes to make their communities vibrant, diverse, and great places to live. And most importantly, we believe that local people know best how to address their community's needs. They're also best positioned and adept at finding local solutions and opportunities to meet those challenges head on. So with all this in mind, the affiliate program was created to support your local efforts, the local efforts of all of you, community leaders, to ensure that long-term sustainable resources and capacity building opportunities are available for your community and the people that live within it. Next slide, please, Anne-Marie. So here's our map of our 11 affiliate foundations. You'll notice that we have strong statewide representation in Central Alaska and Southeast Alaska. ACF aspires to have even greater representation across the state. And so we continue to work with interested groups in Northern, Northwest Arctic, Western, and Aleutian communities. But currently we are in these 11 affiliate communities. Next slide, please. So what are affiliates? Affiliates are really groups of volunteers across Alaska who dedicate their time, their treasure, their talent to the local focus of their affiliate. And affiliate advisory board members, they get to work with people who love their communities and then connect those people with opportunities to give back to the hometowns they love. Affiliates raise funds for their communities, and those resources are forever designated for that area. So that community, that region, or that area. And this local influence, this leadership, decision-making, these are all critical components of the program, but really the secret ingredient to all of this is possible because all of you, the volunteers that make up the affiliate network, and of course our ACF staff that help support all of you. So we know that ACF affiliate community foundations, they do end up assuming different community roles. They lead philanthropic activities locally, like other community foundations do. But since affiliates live under ACF, affiliates operate under ACF's bylaws, policies, and procedures. Carmen and I are working on an ACF affiliate handbook refresh. We're updating that now, and we do plan to share that out later this year. This handbook does align with all ACF policy, process, procedure. So we recommend, sort of in your first couple of years of being a new board member, use this handbook, let it become your friendly reference guide throughout your volunteer journey with your affiliate and with ACF. Slide 5, please. Or next slide, please. Thank you. All right, so affiliates, they do have distinct roles and responsibilities, as do ACF central team members in Anchorage and regional ACF program managers. So let's just dig in a little bit and let's clarify those roles a little bit. So as Carmen mentioned earlier, there's 3 distinct roles that community foundations play. Affiliates take on similar roles such as that, so they connect with donors through their local donor development and stewardship activities. They create and host engagement events and activities for donors and community members. Affiliates are also seen as the community's local grant making and resource connector. Affiliates can often respond to immediate or emergent needs as they arise, and they run at least one competitive grant cycle per year to get awards out to support those nonprofits. Additionally, affiliates can connect their local nonprofits to other grant opportunities through ACF or through our funding partner network. So we share out grant opportunities all the time, as you or you'll likely hear from other board members, to really give your local nonprofits additional access to grant dollars from other funders. The third role that affiliates play in their community is as a community leader. Affiliates can convene their nonprofits, business sector, local governments to come together to address critical needs. They provide activities like trainings, workshops, other educational programming to build the capacity of people within their community. And affiliates take on other community leadership roles. A great example of this was in Sitka. The Sitka affiliate worked with their local borough to connect officials to the needs of the nonprofit sector. SLF also worked on the other side with nonprofits to identify what those needs were. And then Sitka Legacy Foundation advocated with the borough for additional dollars to be allocated for nonprofits in Sitka. And the borough responded by releasing additional thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars to those nonprofits during the pandemic. So this is just one example of the amazing role that affiliates can play under community leadership. All right, next slide, please. So the Alaska Community Foundation, we really serve as the umbrella organization or lead foundation for affiliates who are again covered under ACF's EIN or IRS charitable status, and they benefit from our statewide philanthropic network. ACF has an outline of the core support and services that we will provide to all communities within the affiliate program. Some of them are listed here for you to read. I'm not going to read through all of them because you all could read them, and we certainly will have access to this in the handbook and other resources. But we wanted to make sure that we note here ACF's role to include essential back office functions, operational support that really provide the efficiencies of scale that the affiliate program was built upon, and other critical support services that have been beneficial in supporting our work together. So you'll see here ACF provides legal and fiduciary oversight, complex gift transactions. We'll go a little bit more into investments and financial management on the next slide. But here are, we just want to make sure we note all of the different ways that we support each affiliate community now through 2026 and beyond. Next slide, please. So you'll see here some of the other support services that we do offer to affiliates. Really briefly, let's talk about investments. So after conducting a search to uphold our fiduciary responsibility, the ACF board selected Baird as its investment consultant to advise on its $209 million investment portfolio. We did that in September of 2017, moved to Baird. Baird is an employee-owned international wealth management, capital markets, private equity, and asset management firm. They do have an office in Anchorage. They were established over 100 years ago, and they have 3,400 associates, and they currently have 171 billion in client assets under their management. That's just a really brief overview. And of course, if you'd like details on what makes up our portfolio of investments, let Carmen or I know, and we can connect you to either the financial information that we publicly broadly share at ACF, or if you have more detailed questions, we can connect you with a finance, an ACF finance team member that can help answer those for you. All right, next slide, please. So, and then additional support services that we provide. You'll see here that we have systems and technological platforms that we utilize for our work. In addition to that, we provide HR support services for the program manager position. Some additional benefits, it's not listed here, but I wanted to share some additional benefits to the working relationship, both from the affiliate side and from the ACF side. So some benefits to your affiliate group: really, you save time and resources by using our existing processes, systems, and nonprofit status and accreditation. You can really focus on addressing the community issues and growing endowment funds, and we can band together more easily with other affiliates within our network and ACF to work on regional issues together. Some benefits on our side: we learn a lot from all of you. We learn a lot from the advisory board members and program managers that are, across regions in Alaska. We gain momentum because more people on the ground growing resources for the region just grows the amount of assets that we have and the amount that we can give out. We also hold more endowed and non-endowed resources, which likely increase our investment diversification options and return. And we can organize more easily across the region to, again, work on common goals or regional issues. So I guess to sort of wrap this part up a little bit, we really consider affiliates to be part of who we are as a statewide community foundation, and thus inclusive in everything that we do. That is our commitment to all of you and to the program, and we're going to continue to collectively evolve this model to continue growing philanthropy across the state together. Next slide, please. So now we're going to go into ACF program manager roles. They are, again, distinct and different from ACF central team members and affiliate advisory board members. So just a really brief history. In 2016, the affiliate program went through a third-party full program evaluation and assessment that did include one-on-one interviews with each of the participating affiliate advisory board members at that time. And we learned that some of the biggest needs for affiliate advisory boards were really around support with organizational, operational, administrative needs that they have, and things that had to be accomplished regularly for their affiliate to thrive and grow. So to respond to this identified need that boards told us about, the Alaska Community Foundation, in partnership with Rasmussen
Thank you for your
Foundation,
patience.
launched, I can hear somebody on the,
Yeah,
oops,
I don't.
I don't know who that was, but that's okay. Let's see. So the program managers, they do have core functions and regular duties, but there's really a range of activities that program managers can engage in, of course, based on longevity, their past and current experiences, work experiences, and new innovative collaborations with board members. So just some brief examples of, the operational and administrative lead work that program managers take on. They support planning and scheduling board meetings. They reconcile receipts and manage vendor payments. They help with communications and marketing needs, help the board with donor stewardship activities, and support the various community activities that affiliates engage in. And program managers also work as a community connector. They provide technical assistance to grantees and applicants, and thus invest time and energy into growing those folks' understanding of grant making. They provide support during events and educational programs, and they connect local nonprofits and community members with, again, with ACF's other grant and scholarship opportunities. And lastly, they work for ACF, and ACF is a learning organization. Regional team members, they meet monthly and they share learnings and updates from across Alaska. Program managers participate in the convening that's happening here Thursday and Friday, as well as ongoing training opportunities throughout the year. And ACF really invests in the professional development for all of its staff, and this includes regional team members as well. So current and former program managers, they have taken part in local, regional, and national trainings and workshops, and those are tailored to each program manager's specific interests and growth development. All right, so next slide, please, Anne-Marie. So as you can see, there have been some milestones in the affiliate program's 14-year history. We weren't able to pull out all of them, otherwise we'd have multiple slides, but we wanted to just point out some bigger milestones for our program. We also want to share, last year was an extremely successful year for all 11 affiliate community foundations. Each affiliate met or exceeded their overall match goals. And despite the challenges that we faced during the pandemic and general fundraising trends focused on donors' desires to give here and now gifts, significantly for affiliates, each affiliate community made meaningful progress in raising funds for their operating endowments using locally developed strategies by the board. We want to just share that, but we also want to share and recognize one of the more intangible accomplishments within the program. So last year, collectively, the 11 affiliates and all of their advisory board members, they collectively recorded over, and this is a low estimate, they collectively recorded over 10,000 volunteer hours in 1 year for this amazing mission that we have. So I just want to end briefly with the affiliate program was really built to change with the needs of your communities as they grow and adapt to the various roles that you'll need to take on in donor development, strategic grant making, and community leadership. We believe that the program is a living and breathing program. And again, because of that, it helps meet the ever-changing needs within a community and adjust to the customized challenges and opportunities that each of you will face this year and for years to come. And so we will be right next to you on that journey and on that path. And next slide, please. So we're going to just wrap up really briefly the affiliate program section. We did want to show you our ACF affiliate resource library on ACF's website. let me get into here real quick because I'm going to share it with you. There's some great, great trainings available. This is always the tricky part with tech. All right. I promise we practiced this before. Can you all see my screen? Okay. Did I lose you guys? Oh. Did that work?
Yep,
Can you
we
see my
it now.
screen? Okay, thank you. Thanks so much. All right, so to access the library, I'm going to just make this a little smaller so I can see better. All right, so we're going to go to ACF's website. This is just alaskacf.org. We're actually going to just go alaskacf.org. So this is ACF's main website here. There's tabs at the top that will tell you, about our main topic areas. You're going to want to go to advisors and volunteers under the tools and resources page. Once you go there, you're going to scroll down and you'll see one for affiliate fund resources here. So this is this resource library I'm about to show you. It is password protected. So you'll select that. And again, we'll share out the password. No need to hurry and jot it down. But you'll stick the password in and it will open up this beautiful affiliate resource library. So we are still growing this library, but what we have now is we have all of 2021's convening sessions. We have 2021's legacy giving training. We have last year's foundations of fundraising training. And slowly but surely, we're going to start putting in, past trainings that we have a few years back, if they're, of good quality and still relevant. We will be getting those up here as well. So you'll have access to these video trainings. There are some PowerPoints or other reference materials that are helpful, but this is available to you at any time. If you have computer and a Wi-Fi connection, you can have access to all of these resources whenever you'd like to. And I think, let's see, okay. Oh man, you are on it, Anne Marie. Let's see. Oh. Well, right now, how about we go to Q&A? Are there any questions that we can help answer around the affiliate program, around ACF, around the relationship? Any questions that have popped up since we started presenting?
Rico, this is John. Thank you for this presentation. It's really helpful. One of the data elements I've been seeing is something called spendable balance, and that's related to the endowment funds. How much of that fund is available for grant making? Do you know how that's calculated roughly, or is that a follow-up detail for a financial person?
Yeah, I can tell you roughly how it's calculated, but if you'd like more detail on that, I would definitely recommend our Chief Financial Officer, Kevin Gray. He knows this stuff backwards and forwards, but I could help answer it for you today, at least how we calculate. So what we do is we take the average of the fund balance over 16 quarters, so we inflation proof it. And then each year our ACF board will decide on a spendable amount based on how the market's doing, what needs have been identified. For example, during the pandemic, the ACF board this past year, they decided to increase the spendable amount so that more dollars could go out to support nonprofits. So that's all to say that amount is calculated on the average of the 16 quarters, the previous 16 quarters of the fund, so the fund balance, and then the spendable amounts. So if the board sets it at 4.5%, like they have for this year, it is 4.5% of whatever that 16 quarter average is. Does that make sense, or did I confuse you more?
No, that makes a ton of sense, and I appreciate it.
And this is for endowed funds.
For endowed funds. So
Right.
I think I have a related question. I'm very new, so I may not
Yeah.
quite understand how this works.
That's what this is for.
Okay, so I'm in the right place. So the
Yes.
program manager ultimately it should be covered by the community foundation at some point, right? ACF funds the program manager for a period of years, and then the community foundation, the affiliate, I'm sorry, takes over. Is
So-
that,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
do I have that right?
I would say that that is our goal. You know, we have funding from Rasmussen through 2025 for the program manager position. I will say that affiliates that want to look at sustainability for themselves into the future, they know that the program manager position is sort of a game changer. And so they are, I think that's also why affiliates are so focused on growing their operating endowment funds over these next few years, so that they eventually can, they have enough operating support for a part-time program manager. I think that's the goal for most affiliates, is that they do become sustainable and that they can afford, you know, a part-time program manager, or even a, you know, 10, 15 years, maybe they'll have a full-time staff member at that point. So,
Yeah. And that leads into my, that's exactly where I was going. Is that spendable balance for that endowed fund? Does that take into consideration the cost of the program manager? Is it anticipating that?
I could jump in if you want, Mariko.
yeah, please do.
Spendable
Yeah.
balance is organization-wide. It's based on current inflation rates, investment returns. It is a investment finance committee decision from our board of fiduciary responsibility that any spendable percentage that's decided is applied across the board to all funds at ACF. So there's not a different
Okay.
spendable balance or percentage for affiliates versus non-affiliates. So again, but it's the nice thing is it's ACF is very conservative and been very successful in their investment strategy. And there'll be a little bit more discussion about that at our meeting on Thursday about some other interest in ESG funds. But on the program manager piece, what I would say is ACF is very committed to that. The program managers to date have been an enormous asset to the program. And I think we're also determining what is sustainability for our core team here in Anchorage and how we continue to support the affiliates. And so I think the decision on how or to fund all aspects of the program into sustainable future past 2025 is for all of us to keep discussing together. There's no, right now, the program managers aren't related to the spendable balance. They're out of a different fund, an operating fund that's supported by Rasmussen, that's at our core office, that's not endowed. So it's just a separate, it's unrelated to spendable, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
I have a question related to that. So the fundable balance, if you don't spend your spendable balance at the end of the year, that stays in and the next year's is added to it, correct?
Yes, it
Okay,
rolls
so
over.
It would
Yep.
behoove us to keep track of how much is actually going in every year. If we see a big number, that may be actually not what we can anticipate having as a spendable balance each year. If
And
we
Gail-
have leftovers, we need to keep track of that sort of thing, huh?
Well, you should get it. So each year, each affiliate fund gets a letter, a spendable letter that shows the exact amount that is going to be
For that year.
available for the next year. We try to send that out before the end of the year. Sometimes it comes out in January, but you'll get that every year. So you'll have that exact amount per fund, spendable amount per fund of what was released in that year.
Okay. Thanks.
Mhm. Any other questions we can help answer today? You got us all here. Well, we must have answered all of your questions then.
Yeah,
This is, oh, go ahead.
Mariko, this is Carrie Irons in Kodiak. Actually, I'm in Vermont right now, so a little time difference. So I wanted to kind of follow up a little bit on that, the endowment funds. I'm really, so the operating in our treasurer's report, we see an operating fund balance, which is, that's the balance that's coming from the Alaska Community Foundation to support our program manager. Is that correct?
That's not, but that's a great question, Carrie. So it is a little confusing right now. So I want to clarify, there's actually 2 operating funds for each affiliate. There's a non-endowed operating fund. These are sort of funds that we opened, to your point, Carrie, to help support the operations of an affiliate year round. In 2017, we opened up operating endowment funds for all affiliates except for Seward. They already had one. But we opened up all operating endowments in 2017 so that we could eventually move to just that one operating endowment fund. And
Okay.
that fund would support operations into the future. But there is that non-endowed operating fund that still exists that, you know, probably has 5,000 to 10,000 in it or something. So that is the fund that we use, the ACF uses when we support affiliates each year with flexible funding.
Okay.
We put that money in there for operations into that non-endowed operating fund.
Okay, I do see that, and I didn't make that really clear about I see the endowed and the non-endowed funds, those 2 different ones, and then the endowment fund. And I wonder if there are, and this may be too small a question right now, but I wonder if there are strategies that that the affiliates can tap into to help focus on operating fund endowment, because that's not so much the really the real focus of a lot of our donors. It's they would rather directly support our nonprofits, not our longer term goals.
And Carrie, all affiliates are struggling with that. How do we show that operations is what makes all this possible, all this good work possible? That is spot on. And I know there are a lot of affiliates that are sort of truth testing different strategies. So I'm really looking forward to the convening. I feel like there's going to be a lot of rich conversation. And bring your question to the group, because we'll have over 100, if everyone shows up, we'll have over 100 participants. So let's put it out to the group and see what they've worked on and what's worked and what hasn't. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of learnings from that.
Cool. I'm going to stop because I don't want to like hog the microphone, but I do have one other question before we end.
Shoot.
So unless anybody else wants to jump in first. Okay, so I wonder, I'm just curious about community events as fundraisers, and when I first logged on, there was a conversation going on about the Migratory Bird Festival, and I wonder, is that something that festival is a fundraiser for the Community Foundation, or are those kinds of things possible to explore for building an endowment?
Cordova, you wanted to?
Can I weigh in a little on that? Or Michelle, do you want to?
No, Gail, you take it first.
So our board this year, Carrie, decided that they wanted to be, because we're pretty new as a foundation, and we're still, and of course, a lot of our newness was swallowed up in the pandemic closures. So,
Right.
so the board decided that we needed to start being a lot more present and visible in town. So one of their goals this year was to participate in every community festival. So we're just having a presence, like at the Holiday Bazaar, we had a table and we gave out treats and talked to a lot of people, and you know, in the guise of giving away a door prize, got a lot of names and addresses, and and then we'll be present at the fungus festival and the salmon jam and all the different activities that happen in Cordova that happen to draw a lot of crowds, both of Cordova people and of people that love Cordova and come regularly to these events. So that was just kind of, I don't think, and from all the fundraising that I read, the people who pass a table and make a donation are not going to be your go-to donors for the rest of the life of your organization, but it really makes an impact in the community as far as goodwill to meet people and get to know them as a friend. So that was our goal in being there and being present. And Michelle, you can add to that.
I'd like to add that we did get some $10 donations and some $20 donations. And I personally value those as much as I value a very large donation, because it speaks to community buy-in. If somebody, we had so many conversations, some small, some really big, and some did lead to, one led to $250 donation to both of our endowed funds, somebody who did get the importance of the operating endowed fund. But we had many small conversations, and to me, community personal investment by individuals in the endowment, in the whole concept of a community foundation fund is key to our survival and longevity, and also to reaching the larger donors or the legacy funds. And so we had a presence, we made a banner. So we've got this pull-up banner, you know, one of those, it's about 2.5 feet wide by 8 feet high. And then we had a table with treats and little, actually goodies from the convening a long time ago, just leftover goodies that we gave. And we had old newsletters, and are now getting very old bifold that we could hand out to people that did want more information. But the really brilliant thing is Gail had her husband paint a backdrop, and we did a very simple thing where we took pictures. We asked people to write down 6 words of why they loved Cordova. And they wrote down these words, and then they held that up and sat in front of this beautiful backdrop. And they were so proud, and they took their picture. And then after that, they were even more engaged. And so I felt like we were supporting our community while building relationships with individuals within the community. Then Gail was able to use some of those pictures as we got releases to post on Instagram and Facebook. And, you know, everybody loves to see a picture of yourself. We're just trying to figure out the ways to be present in the community. Our big hope is to someday to have a small office with a sign, so we would have visibility, but people forget. And during COVID, we just haven't been doing, we were doing, what do you call, Gail, when you meet in someone's home? Mark,
Fundraiser.
yeah, a friend raiser.
Oh, that's what a friend raiser is.
Yeah.
Friend raiser, I like that.
Yeah.
So we haven't done that, and we haven't had a big community event that we personally hosted because of COVID in the last 2 years. So this has really helped. And we just really only felt safe enough, and the community only felt safe enough this last December at the bazaar. So this will be, well, this will actually be our 3rd event, because we had the Ice Horn Festival, and the board members who were available marched in the parade.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much, Cordova. That's really helpful. Really gives me a broader picture.
I was just going to mention that Joe from Fairbanks shared a really heartwarming story, to me at least, at our last board meeting in February, whenever that was, that she was really surprised that reminding herself that it doesn't always have to be a big event with all this planning and all this effort, that they usually focus on the big events. And then one day they decided to do kind of a small, and I can't remember, maybe Michelle's already learned from Sally. They just showed up. It was a really small thing. And then next thing they knew, someone gave them a huge donation, just a local community member, just recognizing to take the pressure off yourselves. It doesn't have to be the big multi-month planning event, that just that connection that Michelle mentioned. You never know who the individuals are. And I'm probably butchering the story, but I just remember it was a reminder of small gifts, small events. It's all about connection, and you can be very happily surprised.
If I could tag on to that, Eleanor, we have a wonderful new board member who I saw was on, but she tends to be a little bit quiet, Heidi. And the very first activity we ever did when we first formed was at the Ice Worm Festival. And we just got on stage. I can't remember what the theme was, but we were dressed up like Star Trek Trekkies launching a new thing. And we were only in the space between the acts. And we just did this little thing and said this little thing, and she saw it, and she's been donating monthly since, and has now become an amazing board member who is, I'm sure, probably cringing right now. But little acts do make results, as our wonderful new board member can testify.
And Michelle, how you said it too, you know, every donation matters. Something that just resonates with my heart whenever I think about community foundations is, you know, this is the people's foundation. This is your community's foundation. It's everybody's foundation. It's not a, you know, private family has a lot of money to give. That's awesome, but most of us don't. And so this is our chance. This is our opportunity to pool together with all of our gifts and make a way bigger impact. So I love thinking about it as this is everybody's foundation. Everybody has buy-in, or everybody can buy in. And I love how you said that, Michelle. It was spot on, resonated with me. Well, I know we have 3 minutes left, so I want to just honor your time. We do have, let's see, I got to share this properly. So